Ayubhava, this is Usha with you from Mumbai. Thank you very much for making me a part of your learning and my learning journey together. I'm going to just add a few notes with regards to the STEAM education. And we're going to talk about inquiry-based learning in STEAM education. Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen with you so that, so it's all about inquiry-based learning in early childhood education. And we know what is STEAM, it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, all of them put together, which is the most buzz in the education field. So the first part is inquiry-based learning. We are going to have the aims to the inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning in STEAM in early years is a collaborative process which encourages children to raise questions and explore their interests. In a playful way, the children are familiarized with the scientific process and learn to think scientifically. Each STEAM education does not teach facts, but kindles a child's inquisitive mind. We as an adult, we take the role of a facilitator, not as a teacher in STEM education, empowering children to shape their own learning and establishing a collaborative environment. The adult here observes children's individual interest, involves them in decision-making, and provides prompts to stimulate their thought process. It's very, very special way of learning in early childhood. It's all about asking questions, finding out answers, being like a little scientist or a detective. Instead of learning from or listening from the teacher, they are going to go out and explore and discover themselves and the things around them. When we do the inquiry-based learning, we use our senses to observe things around us. We look at things, touch them, feel them, and even listen to them. For example, when we learn about plants, we touch the leaves, we smell the flowers to learn more about them. We also use tools like magnifying glasses, a bug catcher to see things close and find out more details. So our basic aim here is 3 things for today's workshop. Part 1 is going to be to understand the basics of inquiry-based learning. Part 2 is to provide educators with strategies of adapting inquiry-based learning to diverse cultures. And part 3 is mini assessment, which is going to be a simple inquiry-based designed activity. We will delve into the core principle and explore how we can design these simple inquiry-based learning. Basics of inquiry-based learning. Appreciate the need and importance of encouraging curiosity and nurturing an inquiry mind in your young child to understand the world around them. Be equipped with the knowledge of scientific concepts and skills to scaffold its learning through inquiry methodology. And we're going to be developing and designing appropriate hands-on inquiry-based activities. Inquiry-based learning basically sparks curiosity, deepens understanding, and it prioritizes the child's questions, ideas, and analysis. It's a learning flip to the script of traditional education. Instead of receiving the information, the students are taking the center stage, formulating questions, conducting research, and drawing their own conclusions. This active, hands-on approach ignites curiosity, fosters deeper understanding, and equips children with critical thinking and communication skills that will serve them throughout their lives. So there are 2 points to this. Again, two sides of the coin. One is from the student's point of view and one from the teacher's point of view. The student's point of view basically focuses on investigation to a problem, and they have to be using their reasoning skills and problem solving skills to reach to the end result. And when they give you the result, they need to be very positive of why their answer is correct. From the teacher's point of view, you as a teacher are moving the children into that zone where they have to do the thinking and understanding. You're there to facilitate and encourage students to ask questions and support them through the inquiry process. It could also be that you give them the milestones so that they know what their goals are to reach their final destination. Yeah. Sorry, just give me, yeah. And here is how an inquiry-based learning. Do you see you have your mind map here? The inquiry-based learning starts with a question. It's a framework. It's an inquiry cycle. It starts with a thought-provoking question that ignites curiosity. Students then delve to investigate, and then they create their own experiment, and then they share a discussion with you, and they will be reflecting to see why their experiment or why they thought the way the experiment should be working. And actually, then they can also go back and start the whole process of thinking and doing the hypothesis again. Finally, they draw conclusions on their findings, solidifying their understanding. So it's kind of a cycle. So there's no end. There's no end to the investigation. The children can go back and redo their thought process. They can redo their questions. They can redo the prediction and come up with another set of experiment. So what you're going to be doing is here is a mini task for you. This is an inquiry-based learning happening in a classroom, early childhood. I would like you to be listening to the video and understanding how the lesson takes place. And I would like you to make a list of things that's helpful for the child. What are the benefits of the inquiry-based learn? Yeah. So you can, after you finish the video, you pause it, and then you make a list before you go on to the next slide. The second big topic today is how we adapt this inquiry-based learning to diverse cultures. Inquiry-based learning is beautiful in its own adaptability. You can adapt it depending upon your classroom framework of children. By considering their cultural backgrounds and their learning styles, you can really create a very inclusive learning environment. We can encourage collaborative work, group work, which are valued in many cultures, because when this happens, basically each child thrives in this inquiry process. And Basically, this is how it works in my classroom. I mean, we do the differentiation. So you make groups of your children based on their strengths, their interest, their needs, to create this inquiry learning lesson for them. Yeah. So it's our classroom is actually a microcosm of um, world brimming with students from diverse backgrounds. We have visual learners who blossom with engaging simulations. They need to see it. We also may have kinesthetic learners where they may shine doing science experiments or anything that's hands-on or role playing. We have to embrace these variation and tailor our inquiry-based learning lessons. So basically, provide them with collaborative or group work, integrate culturally relevant topics. So basically, whichever country you are or I am from, based on the availability, based on the exposure, based on the opportunities that is available, we kind of design our lesson with all the materials that we get locally. And this specially, you can scaffold your inquiry to these children based on their diverse needs. There may be a group that can take over the learning by themselves. They will say, okay, they can frame their own questions. They can set up with the materials that's been given. They set up their own questions. They set up their own experiments. There will be children who will need a little bit of support and giving them a guided, open-ended question so that it's also structured for them so they know how to progress in their experiment. So with regards to collaboration, and this is which is the most important part, is it's the cornerstone of IBL. Group work allows students to learn from each other's strength. They hone their communication skills. They develop a sense of camaraderie. They kind of appreciate and celebrate each other's work. And they also learn to agree to disagree because they can discuss and they can actually debate on why they think that way. And this ensures that students can meaningfully participate in scaffolding this whole lesson. So as I said, this may involve you giving them roles within the teams, of offering them some kind of a help for struggling learners, and opening it up very independently for children who can take the experiment to the next step on their own. Embracing the next generation of learners. As we transform our classroom into culturally responsive hubs, we open the doors of possibilities for our students. We nurture their curiosity. We equip them with tools to think critically and solve problems. And we cultivate a classroom community that thrives on collaboration and respect. So this whole IBL way of working, as I said, develops a lot of other life skills like being respectful, being a good listener, being responsible, being independent, and being empathetic. And also one of the big thing is being resilient, where then they have the freedom to kind of fail in that experiment, but again, they go back and they have the freedom to re-look into the experiment and take their learning in their own way. So now it's your turn to put the theory into practice. You have a task here. Read through the whole thing. I have kind of put all the information in here. Yeah, you have to also conclude your experiment or your task by reflecting on the importance of understanding buoyancy and flotation in early childhood education. Why do you think it's important for them to kind of buoyancy and flotation, which is like a sink and float? Why do you think it's very important for the children of early childhood to even know or understand that? And how this whole experiment can promote their inquiry and critical thinking skills in young children. So this is my last slide where we're going to just very quickly summarize what we talked about. IBL basically fosters, reinforces curriculum content, warms up the brain for learning because they become inquisitive, curious, promotes a deeper understanding of content because they're taking the learning in their own hand, helps make learning rewarding because that's something that they celebrate and they discover things on their own, builds initiative and self-direction. They also start focusing on, they know the pathway towards success toward their goal. And this works in any kind of classroom. The best part is it also gives you a differentiated instruction based on our students in our classroom. So thank you very much for listening, and I really hope you're able to take this inquiry-based learning into your classroom and it becomes a part of you to be the facilitator and guide the children through their discovery on their own. Thank you very much.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.